Pat yourself on the back because you are right here, right now, for a reason. Welcome to the On Purpose podcast, where together we will empower ourselves and others to live lives with more passion and purpose.
How you doing this Saturday morning, Jerrod?
Shit, I'm great, my friend. Like, honestly, right now is part of a vision board that Andrea and I set way back in 2016, which was traveling full-time on our Airstream and working from the road. So I am recording from my Airstream in the middle of Salt Lake City, bro.
Dude, I love it, man. I'm so happy and proud of you guys. I think when we had first launched the podcast, you had mentioned how things from that vision board were manifesting. Like, first of all, the Airstream, like that you guys, made that purchase and you've been talking about this for such a long time that it's so awesome to see it actually happening. So when I see you like posting these things or sending me a pic, I'm just like, dude, yes. Actually, you saying that, it's like, man, I need to redo my vision board, man. Like, it's a little outdated. So that's so good, man. I'm super happy for you. So you guys
Thanks,
had
man.
a pretty badass weekend, huh?
Dude, it's unbelievable. Like, so one night we were at a lake in Wyoming, and it was literally me and Andrea and her sister, Missy, were the only people at this lake. And we're watching this crazy sunset over the mountains and stuff. And then the next day we drive and we're back in the middle of a city in Salt Lake. So lots of freedom, man. Lots of freedom. But yeah, life is good. And it's just like you took some risk and now you're down in Florida creating a whole new team around you and impacting new lives. And there's something to be said about getting out of what you're comfortable with. And for those listeners that haven't heard all the stories, I've never towed anything in my life, never pulled a trailer, never owned a damn pickup. So, like, not only are we traveling and seeing new places, but, like, we're learning a whole lot of new skills.
Dang, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun, dude. But I had to pull out some big city driving, like, growing up right outside of D.C., where I learned to drive, like a city driver, like fast in and out. Then I had to slow it down when we came to Colorado because it was just a different pace. But we got down here, bro, and our Google Maps, they threw us a curveball, made me go past where I was supposed to be in U-turn. So I got U-turned this big-ass truck and this big trailer, and Andy's like, no, you're not going to do it. And I was like, oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. And we made it. We didn't kill nobody, didn't crash nothing, so it was good.
Nice. Nice, man. Yeah, Google Maps, dude. They have they'll be on like a good streak with me for several months, and then they'll fuck me up with some stupid direction somewhere. And I'm like, I'm done with Google Maps, man. And then I'll go back to my Apple. But I'm glad you were able to successfully make that U-turn and that we're able to do a little bit off of our normal schedule, a little weekend recording here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
But yeah.
Man. But I think that's like a microcosm for life, right? Sometimes we have these ideas of where our life's going to go and how we're going to get there, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to make a U-turn and we're too afraid to do it. And sometimes like the traffic's too bad, you're not sure you can make it without hitting the curb, and sometimes you just got to stop, slow down, and U-turn in your life and get things going where you want to go. So, yeah, dude, it's all about flexibility now, man.
Amen.
Travel when we can, go see new places, and share the stories with everybody. So, which kind of leads us to this episode 130.
Woo!
Yeah, I know. I love that you sent me that picture of our first meeting way back in 2019.
Dude, isn't that wild? I didn't know I had that.
We need to get that posted for everybody to see.
Yep.
That was when I realized Ali was a VIP at Who Hut of all places.
Yep, got the rewards account, baby. You want some Who Hut? Hit me up.
Yeah, just make sure you use his number so he gets the rewards.
I got you.
But yeah, so we're here to talk about how to build a purposeful community, and not only how to, but why do we need it? Why should we make that a mission, is to build our community? And I think Ali and I both spent time this past few days really diving in and sharing with our community. So I think it's going to be a fun episode to get into.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I can kind of kick us off here, Jerrod, just with a story about my weekend. So as you guys know, or maybe some of you don't, I moved to Florida from 6 to 7 year time in Colorado just a few months ago, back in April, September now. And I really cultivated a deep, loving bond with my trials tribe, at the gym with. That's where I met Jerrod. That's where I met a lot of my closest friends today. That's where I met so many people and built a community there. So that was one of the uh, biggest struggles of leaving the trials community to come somewhere new. And when you go to a new gym, I think I shared on a previous episode, had a little tiff with one of the fighters there, and just like right away didn't feel extremely welcome. But in time started making some friends and connecting with the coach, and it's just different. But one thing that really brought us together, at least from my perspective, as a community, as a tribe this weekend, was traveling to Miami and competing in a grappling tournament together. So we rode up there. There was about 7 competitors, and my heart was touched that one of the guys, his name is Q, him and his wife actually came up and made a weekend out of Miami just to be there at the tournament. And this guy Q, he's the one who kind of introduced me to the gym and brought me in. So they came up. Our coach came up, who he has a 1-year-old, and kind of made some changes last minute just to be up there. And we were able to cultivate community through overcoming challenges together and coming together to help each other overcome challenges. And I think that is a pivotal step in how to build a purposeful community, is finding a common goal, or you can even call it an obstacle or problem to solve together, and come together and try and do that. In this case, we all have a common goal of becoming better grapplers. We're all competing to better our grappling skills, and for whatever reasons, whether that's self-defense, to feel empowered just because you love martial arts, or whatever it is. And it was cool, man. It was really the first time since I've been training at Inside Control Academy that I felt like, all right, man, like these are my homies. Like this is my new community here. And there were some great bonds, had some great conversations. Shoot, simply just having a 4-hour drive with people, when you're in the car with people for 4 hours, you have conversations, and some things came up to where we had to have discussion because we don't necessarily agree on everything, right? Different ideas and perspectives on things. And it was a really great experience, man. And the result of that, I think, of just all kind of organically coming together, and people coming together last minute and competing, we won the no gi as a team. A lot of people did really well. Most of our guys competed in no gi. We had 7 no gi competitors, and everybody medaled. And yeah, we won as a team. So it was a great time, man, down in Miami, Florida. And I think that is a pivotal piece of how to build a purposeful community, is finding people who have a common goal, or who are looking to solve a common problem.
Yeah, for sure. But I think also, man, is the first step, I would say, it's good to find the common goals and the common mission there, if you will, but also being willing to embrace them in your pursuit, right? Because I think about that, just something as simple as riding down with these guys. It might have been inconvenient. You might have had to go out of your way to pick somebody up or to get picked up, or you can't listen to your favorite music. You can't stop when you want to stop all the time. How many times do we pass an opportunity to share that time with another person, really learn their stories simply out of convenience for ourselves? Right? What if you'd have been like, nah, dudes, I'll just meet you guys there? Well, you would not have gotten the same experience, right? You wouldn't have gotten to know them. And I think that's one of the big things I say is if we want to build a purposeful community, right? If we wake up in the morning and we're like, man, I need more people like me around me. I need more people that are driven. I need more people that are pursuing things, that have dreams, that can uplift me and hold me accountable. Well, then I'm going to ask you, are you making time for them? because sometimes that is going to be inconvenient, right? It means you're going to ride with somebody else. Maybe you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times we're not willing to get inconvenienced enough to really learn about the people around us. We want everything on our schedule. Like, I want to build this community. I want all these people to support me and to help, like, dream like me and live like me and push like me. But man, it's got to be all on my time frame. It's got to be all like how I want it, or I'm just not gonna show up.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you call that? Sacrifice, inconvenience?
Yeah, I think it's this. If you really want to build a purposeful community, if you want people to want to migrate to you, live your life and spend your time making it around other people, right? Like, think about it, you could have went down there yesterday, and I guarantee a lot of what you learned and how you feel is because you gave. You showed people how to prepare for their matches. You told stories of your competitions. You shared. You listened. Right? And so it comes down to this: bring value to others.
Mm.
Right? You need to be a value adder to the people whose lives are around you. And if you start doing that, you're going to attract more people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I got told this one time, and it used to drive me nuts. Somebody, I forget who it was, but they were like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You have such good friends and stuff." I'm like, "No, I'm not lucky. I have good people around me. I purposefully put myself in places where I'm going to attract good people. And I do things to attract good people. There's no luck in that. So you got to have a purpose, right? Like, if I want a good community, I got to purposefully build that community. Which
100%.
means I add value to those around me. Like, what about this? Let's go, since we talked about that picture where you and I met. What about if I'd have said, "Hey, Ali, I want you to come on this podcast, but I want you to be a supporting role, and everything you do has to make me look good, and it's got the podcast is my name and my image," and right, like, you'd have been like, why would I do this, dude? I'm not here to carry your bags and build you up.
Mm-hmm.
But we were literally like, "No, dude, like, we're a team, and you're as equal as I am." And I remember one of the things you were kind of like, I can't remember if you asked it or if you just in your body language said it, but like, what do I have to add? Or like, at some point, I think maybe we talked about in the first episode, you were a little quieter because you were feeling like, okay, where do I fit in this community? What do I have? What value do I bring? And that's what if you want a purposeful community, you bring value out of others and you give value to others. But in such a selfish world, we're so one-sided. We want a community that fills my needs, but I don't want to give to nobody else.
Yeah. And right now I'm finishing up a book. It's called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And just a couple of days ago, I was reading this chapter that talked about how even in religion, in the Bible, and in quantum physics, it talks about how when you are seeking something in the world, the best way for you to receive that is to give more of that. So, if you're seeking love, give more love. If you are seeking money, even if you have low money, give some money, contribute, donate. And it's crazy how that works, but sometimes we need to give what we're looking to receive. So if you're looking to build community, give your service to communities, to groups of people that the types of people that you're looking to have in your life. And it's crazy what will come back to you. Those laws of reciprocation we see. I mean, think about it in your life. Think about the people in your life. They're just the type of people that are like, take, gimme, that are always trying to get something out of you, right? Those people almost always, if you think about those people in your life, are people that don't have much. They probably don't have many friends. They don't have too much money. They don't have too many resources. They don't have too many awesome life experience to share. But then if you think about the people in your life that are so giving, that are always accountable, responsible, that are givers, they give back to their community, they give to their family, they give to their friends, it's most likely those are going to be the most abundant people in your life. So yeah, 100% agree, Jerrod, with bringing value to others and giving always comes back.
I love that, dude. So here's a excuse me. Here's a challenge for our community, and we did this. So I've been at the DoTerra convention. Just a little plug to them. I love this company, man. They are phenomenal product wise, but more importantly, personal development. And one of the exercises they had the whole arena do was write down the characteristics of the people you want to attract to your business. Right? So like if I want, leader, somebody that's got integrity, that's punctual, that follows through, the first thing I need to ask myself is, am I doing these things? Because if I want to attract something that I'm not doing, it's going to be very difficult. If I am the person doing all the things you're looking for, but you're not doing them, why would I come to you? Right? If I'm wanting somebody that's, like, just say this, I'm wanting somebody that's in shape, eating well, physically challenging themselves, because I want to go hiking and I want adventure sports and I want to do stuff that physically push my body. But I sit around and I'm watching television, sitting on the couch, drinking beer, eating potato chips all night. Well, why is the healthy dude coming to my house? Where the hell am I going to meet him? Right? Like, he's not going to be doing what I'm doing. So I think that's the first part about, if you want to build a purposeful community, write down who it is you want in your life. What is it you want people, what kind of characteristics of people do you want around you? And then honestly go look in your damn mirror and ask yourself, am I doing these things? And if you're not, then you got to make some changes. Because right, law of attraction says we attract what we put out. So if I put out a certain set of habits, I'm going to attract people that also live within those habits. Right? Like, if I'd have pitched you on joining me for this podcast, because I truly believe we can change the world. I told you that first day, like, we can empower people all around the world, and I still believe it. But if you just showed up at 7 o'clock to record and I show up at 7:12 and I'm hungover and I'm unprepared and I don't have my shit, you ain't sticking around. You're a man on the mission. You got way too much. You got way better things to do than carry me. So if you're not living the way you want to attract, the skills and attributes of the people you're trying to attract, you're repelling them. As simple as that. There's no other way.
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree more. And that brings me to another one of our points in how to build a purposeful community, and that's to listen, right? To listen, to be aware, to look, and even beyond listening, but to see how others are acting, right? To really listen, not only with your ears, but with your mind, your heart, listen with your entire being, because that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to others. And that's when we can truly understand others, right? So whether we're looking to bring value or solve a common goal or common problem together, a huge thing is going to be really truly listening to understand, right? Not to listen to make a better argument or a better valid point, but truly listening to understand. A great way that always stuck with me, an incredible speech that I heard at Toastmasters for listening, was slant. So sit up, lean in, ask questions, nod, and shit, what's T, man?
Take notes,
track.
maybe?
Track. If they're listening, track them. So slant. And you'll find if you do these things, even in a conversation, your listening, your comprehension is going to go up. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can give to someone, is like, just think about in your own life how good it feels when you are speaking to somebody and they can relay back information to you that really shows you they're listening. That bond, you're instantly creating a bond there. And that's what community is all about, is it's built on tight bonds between people. So listening with your entire being is key.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the head. Listening to learn, not listening to argue. I'm I'm not listening to counterpoint right away. I'm listening to understand. So here's something that I found interesting. So I'm at this convention. They set up this cafe that's doing all these healthy smoothies, and they have musicians playing a couple times a day. And like, to me, man, the musicians are out there and they're all by themselves. One was a band, the other were just solo performers. But they're playing, man. They're playing their heart out and they're singing. Like, they're showing, to me, that's like an expression of your soul, right? If you got the courage to get up in front of people and sing and play your music, like, I'm gonna stop and give you a nod and like appreciate you. And I was shocked at how many people will walk right by them and not even acknowledge that this person is sharing their gift with you. Right? And part of me, I wanted to just like put my table right in front and be like, stop for a second. This young lady is sharing a gift. Embrace it for 1 minute. Like, I know you got your phone and you're hurrying, you got places to go, but you literally just walked by somebody sharing their gift with the world. And you didn't even know it. So how many times could people be in our communities that have gifts that we're very much seeking, but we don't slow down enough to recognize it?
All the time, man. I love that analogy. And I see that all the time in cities and towns, right? You have a musician on the corner playing and people won't even look. They won't even make eye contact.
Dude,
right?
Man. I watched this guy for a half hour. Like, Missy and Andrea were laughing at me because they text me like, where are you at? Like, there's all these speakers and there's Olympic athletes. Bro, I'm outside the arena watching this dude play drums on buckets and pans. He was phenomenal. Right? Like, I just sat and watched him. I'm like, that's his gift to the world. But how many times do we walk by people who have something to offer, but we just don't take the time to recognize it? Which then in turn, right, like, now think about this. If I walk by you all the time and I don't see all these gifts, I don't see his leadership, I don't see his physical attributes, I don't see his charisma to uplift everybody, because I just walk by him because I'm not paying attention, there's a good chance I'm not seeing my gifts. And I'm not paying attention to what I could bring the world.
Yeah, wow. That's a great way to look at it.
Right? Because if I stop to appreciate the guy playing drums on the buckets and pans, I look and I'm like, man, he got creative there. He has no actual instruments, but he's making music. What can I make in my life without having the fanciest gear? Do I really need the fanciest camera to make a podcast? Do I really, right? Because now I'm like, ooh, wait a second. I can tap into his creativity to solve some of my problems. But not if I don't pay attention. I just walk right by him. Dude, I literally was about to just like put a stop sign right in front of musicians and make everybody stop for 1 minute.
Dude, you should have. That would have been hilarious.
But I didn't, because I'm like, all right, what ain't my thing? But I did lead the claps, bro. I became the clap initiator.
Nice, the slow clap guy.
After every song, I'd be like, yeah, I nod them up. And I'd be like, clap for them now.
There you go. Hell yeah.
But think about, man, like, there are gifts around us and people around us that bring value to us every day if we would stop and slow down and then recognize them.
Amen to that, man. That was a great share right there of, if you're not noticing people's gifts around you, you're probably not noticing your own gifts or your loved ones' gifts, right? If you're not noticing an incredible musician or, you know, anyone that's sharing their gift in the world, then most likely you're not noticing the gifts of your loved ones, and that sucks too.
Not only that,
your kids, your spouse, your whoever.
Yeah, and then think about what about this, man? What about if you're better than me? Man, Ollie's so good at this thing, but I'm not going to tell him he's really good at it because I don't want him to know that he's better than me. So I don't share my appreciation for you. You want a community that wants to be around you? Let them know you value them. You appreciate them. Right? You don't have, that's the best thing about building a fantastic community is you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the skills. You attract people that help you. But if you want them to stay around you, you've got to show them some appreciation. Just like how many episodes have we talked about our conversations with grocery clerks?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I had the conversation with the lady at the hotel the other day, and I just asked her, say your question, what's your best part of the day? She's like, oh, I get off at 4, I get to watch my boy play football. Dude, we had like a half-hour conversation all about her son. He's a freshman, he's playing JV, she's so excited. And then
Nice.
yeah, dude, at the end of it, she's like, I'm so glad you stayed here. Thanks for coming by. And guess what? I was just in there getting free coffee because I didn't stay at that hotel. But I stopped to talk to her.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, actually, one of Andrea's friends stayed there, so I just went in. We were picking her up, so I just got some free coffee.
I love it. And how easy was that to do?
Dude, that feels good. Like you leave and you're like, oh, man, if I see her again, I'm going to ask how the game went. Because now I'm actually curious. How'd your boy do? They win?
Right.
Did you play good? Good. But we're just so selfish, man. Like, if you want a community around you, look at your habits. If your habits are about you and selfishness, you ain't going to attract a community.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We're not inherently selfish. You know, when you look at little kids and babies, they're inherently really sweet. You know, most of them, like, yeah, we do have that darkness and get pissed off and scream and want to hit shit every once in a while. But when you look at little babies and stuff, if they see another kid hurt or crying or sad, you know, they want to help. And that's who we truly are. We just have to realize that we've been conditioned to not care. We've been conditioned to be able to walk by a homeless, starving man on the street who may have gone down the wrong path, who may have come from a beaten, torn home and been torn down. And we have been conditioned to be able to walk right past him, not even make eye contact, and not give a fuck about another human being, about another brother, sister who is starving, who is slowly dying, who is addicted to drugs, to not even look at them. And that builds up to not even taking one moment, or even seeing the value of taking one moment to appreciate the street performer, the street musician. And if you can't even do that, how are you going to go and build a purposeful community? You know what I mean? So I think it's like we have to be able to take these small steps. You have to have the courage to clap for the street performer. You have to have the courage to ask the drive-through person or the barista what the best part of their day was. You have to have the courage to invite your neighbor over for dinner sometimes, to do these small actions before you can go and, you know, build your purposeful community or build your purposeful business or build any of your dreams. It starts with doing the little things right first. And the little things are always, the most important little things are always going to be people based. Everything's always going to be relationship based. So if you think you're too busy, you know, you're on your phone, you got an important meeting, or you're too busy to acknowledge the guy playing the drums on buckets, then you're probably not going to be successful in whatever it is that you're doing. And if you are, I would bet it's going to be short-lived, or your success is built on a shitty foundation like fear or something like that, instead of appreciation, gratitude, to build something that's going to transcend people, that's going to transcend time. A company like a doTERRA or a Spanx, like you were mentioning off air, Sarah Blakely came and spoke, founder of Spanx, like stuff like that. So in order to be great and to build greatness, you got to see the greatness in others and appreciate the greatness in others, and even create small moments of greatness, as small as it may be. What was the best part of your day, etc.
Dude, I love it. And I think you said something that we should really slow down, make sure the community heard, and that is your foundation. Right? If I build a community and my foundation is bringing value to others, serving others, listening, that's a very sound structure to build upon. But if I'm building a community based on greed, and okay, oh, you have a certain title, let me be friends with you because you can help introduce me to this person, I can move up. And then I can move up from there, right? That's how you get these people that have all the things in the world and they're miserable, because they didn't build a community of people on a solid foundation on their way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's huge, is slow down for a second. And I would even add this, man. If you're willing to walk by another human and not even acknowledge their gift, I'm betting you're not seeing your own gifts. Right? Because if I start to see my gifts, like one of my gifts is I build communities. Right? Like my daughter's always like, Dad, how many, I talked to Taya the other night. She's like, how many people did you meet today? And I was like, well, I met this person and that person. She's like, I don't know how you do it. Everywhere you go, you make friends. And I'm like, that's just one of my gifts. I walk in. I'm not afraid to talk to people. I believe in myself. I believe I belong wherever I go. Even if I don't wear a sport coat, Ollie, I still believe I belong. So that's kind of one of my gifts, is I can bring people together. So if I say, okay, that's one of my gifts, well, this guy's gift is playing the drums on buckets and pans. And this person's gift over here is this. Like when we start to see other people's gifts and our own gifts, now we start to attract people in their strengths.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we can improve. And think about how much work does it take to actually look at Ollie and go, okay, what are his gifts? Oh, man, he's so good at this. Now I'm going to tell you, Ollie, I appreciate you for doing these things. When's the last time in the community, I'm challenging you, when's the last time you told somebody you appreciated them? And specifically, what about them you appreciated them? Why not? Why are we afraid to do that? We want that appreciation. We want to know that our gifts are received, but we're afraid to let other people know that we're receiving theirs.
It's good stuff right there, Jerrod. That's good stuff. And for our community that's listening, like, I want you to be aware of this, but don't beat yourself up too hard about this, because we have to realize this is something that can sneak up on us and that we become conditioned to out of our habits. Yeah. Right? So it's not that you're a bad person or a shitty person if you aren't doing these things, but just a small tweak of habits here, and trying to be a little bit more. Like, it took me a long time to start consistently making an effort of interacting in a small way with all the grocery clerks and you know, what's been the best part of your day. Like that was something that I had to build up to. Some people are a lot more naturally inclined to do that, but for some people it's hard work. But on the other side of that hard work is a feeling of appreciation, of love, of gratitude, all of these positive emotions for a very small fee. So wherever you're at, get started on seeing people's greatness, bringing value to others, listening, having new experiences, right? Going to a tournament with your new team, whatever it is. What else we got for him, Jerrod?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think a lot of what sparked some of these thoughts for me is I come to this doTERRA convention, and if you looked at my life, military, law enforcement, mixed martial arts, which has a lot of conflict by nature involved in it, and you would say, like, Jerrod's going to go to doTERRA convention, which I think the company is 85% ladies, females, from all around the world. Yesterday
no wonder you love those conventions, man. Now I know why you've been going.
Yesterday was pretty much all about female empowerment. It's essential oils. It's way softer approach than my traditional path. You would on surface say, Jerrod, you're going to hate it there. Like, there's nothing there. You're not going to learn a thing. But I love it because, like, most of the people here think way differently than me. So when I get to have conversations with them, I know, like, I don't need to be right. I want to learn. Why do you think this? What brought you here? Why do you do what you do? Why do you believe this works? Right? And so one of the things about building a community is don't seek a community where everybody thinks just like you and everybody looks just like you and everybody does just like you. I've mentioned this on a few different episodes, but I love that saying that if you look at your circle and everybody agrees with you all the time, there's no need for that circle. You already got all the answers. You're learning nothing. right? Like I want to talk to people that see the world way different than me. You know, we got to listen to a doctor from Somaliland yesterday and explaining to us like what little girls still go through in that country, which is unbelievable that to me that it still happens in our world. But if I don't make time to sit and listen to her, I don't know that. I've never been to Somaliland. Right? So don't try to create your community and think everybody has to agree with you and look just like you. Matter of fact, your community is stronger when everybody brings differences. We come together to use those differences to build strengths and to improve our knowledge and to expand what we know or what we think we know, or even challenge that maybe we weren't right on this.
Somaliland is a country, huh?
It's part of Somalia, technically
Okay.
by most of the world, but according to what I learned yesterday, they do not view themselves as Somalia.
Interesting.
They're away there. I don't think they said it, but I think they're different, like tribes, if you would, like different ancestry. So Somaliland sees themselves as their own country, but they've been put with Somalia. But
Wow.
they're much more inland and
Yeah.
farmers.
And see, that's another amazing thing too, man, is there's countries out there that we've never even heard about, that we know nothing about, entire countries with millions and millions of people. Imagine if we haven't heard of entire countries with millions and millions of people. Imagine how many issues and topics and things that are going on in those countries that we've surely never ever heard about too. Yet we decide to focus all of our time and all of our energy on whatever everybody else is focused on and talking about here, right? Or whatever the media is telling us. Oh, you got to be pissed off about this and vaccines and this and that, to where there's an entire world to explore. So get out there and enjoy connecting with people, learning about people who've gone over to Somaliland. Like people have just such incredible stories, and it is a shame if we just keep to ourselves, stay on our phone, can't even acknowledge the musician, can't even start up a conversation. Like get out there and take the steps that it takes in order to build a purposeful community.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think I'd just add one more thing, and then we can wrap this up. Is there's so many amazing stories out there with all these people. But then I also want you to stop for a second and realize there's also an amazing story within each of you. And your story may be the story that changes somebody else's life. It may be the story that gets somebody else over the hump. But you got to be willing to share your story. You got to be willing to stop and talk to people and talk authentically and real about real stuff. Because sometimes we have this idea that everybody else's story is so much better than ours. And if there's 10 of us in a room and all of us think our stories aren't as good as the other person's story, guess what? Nobody else tells their story. And the stories are what build community, right? The stories are what build businesses.
Amen. Stories.
So, I think that's good, Ali. How to build a purposeful community. So, team, if you want to build a purposeful community, the first thing I think you got to do is write down the attributes of the people you want in your community. And then go to the mirror like Ali likes to do and have a conversation with yourself and ask yourself honestly now, are you living up to what you think people should be doing in your community? And if you're not, it's time to make some changes. Right? And then listen to people. And when you leave your house today, like set a goal, like I'm going to bring value to somebody else today. And if you do that every day, you're bringing value. Right? And who doesn't want to be in a community where everybody wants to bring value to others? And then, like Ollie and I talked off air, like for me, coming to this convention every year is always like a spiritual little recharging. Even though it's a business convention, it's a lot of personal development. So put yourselves in groups that are going to challenge you and uplift you and join stuff like that.
Amen. Amen, guys. Get out there and build your purposeful community. And then whether or not you've built your purposeful community or not, engage with other communities that align with your values. If you're listening to us, come join on a deeper level with us on Patreon. We have multiple memberships. The $25 a month membership gets you an incredible value. You get a once a month mastermind meeting with Jerrod and myself. We get deep into some deeper topics. We have some deep topics around your life philosophy, around your life mission, to where at the end of these monthly meetings, you have hard, concrete, written out statements for yourself or exercises for yourself that go beyond just listening to the podcast, where you're taking action. And then again, we have our first men's On Purpose podcast retreat coming up. We have applications in, so make sure to get your application in ASAP to get your spot. It's going to be an incredible time. We're going to be diving deep into topics around what it means to be a man, around handling fear, around conquering your internal dialogue. We're going to have delicious and nutritious foods. We're going to have incredible workouts. So that is going to be a life-changing weekend, guys. I cannot wait. It's going to be right here in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. We're going to do a lot of deep work, but we're also going to have a great time. Be an incredible 4,000 square foot Airbnb right by the beach. So get your application in for that ASAP and continue living with purpose, guys.
And remember, team, life is far too short to live any other way than on purpose. We will see you all again next week.